We don't need a vote per se. I mean, I'll leave it to your council to tell you whether you need to vote or not. Our thought was we just would like to get an indication from this body as to whether this is something that seems consistent, would be worth pursuing, and whether it needs some sort of, or whether it would require some other process. In our view, in the end, what it is a resort. That is a destination, and we have to make sure it fits all those requirements, that it has the kind of amenities that would be associated with a destination. We've already agreed with staff that we would put limitations that you could not have operated anything other than rental. You could not have people staying longer than 30 days, and that transient tax must be collected on each night's occupancy. That way, people understand this isn't going to be workforce housing. This isn't going to be a place that someone can come and plop down for the ski season. This is a place that if you want to come and instead of check into a hotel where all the units are attached, you're going to come and have this opportunity to be in a detached resort. So that's our presentation on that component. I know that there were some questions about some of the architectural concepts, and all this is going to come before you more formally after we complete our review process with the Planning Commission. But this is these are some of the concepts that we're currently working with, and we need to continue the discussion with the planning department on, but this is an example of some of the single-family product types we're looking at for the property. Here are some more of those product types.
So I generally like the product. I think it looks good. I don't know if I can make a decision today or whether or not it fits the original master plan. I would like our legal department to have an opportunity to review it and make sure that we just don't make a mistake. So that we don't open the door up for other developments to break off and cause trouble for us down the road. And other than that, I like the product, I like the presentation. I would like to stay in one of them. But I just want to make sure that we don't make a mistake that comes back to bite us in the future in a way that we didn't anticipate.
Sir.
Just a question on your overall project.
Yes.
I assume, as I was looking at this, I'm back on that one at the front.
Yep.
With your stuff up on the bench, I'm assuming would be similar to what we see next door at Victory Ranch type stuff.
Yep.
Looking in other, you got in Jackson Hole, whatever, is there any drawback or whatever that to get up to that, let's say fancy or whatever, have to drive, but it looks like that road that's roughed in up there.
Yeah, so that's a fair question.
They're not having to drive through all these little cabins to get up to their nice, whatever you want to call them, homes on the top.
Yeah, let me go back. Let me do this. I think that's a very fair question. It's been asked by planning staff too. They said, if you're going to have all this very nice product, do you want to have a KOA on your doorstep?
Yeah, you got to drive through the KOA.
And we do not. I mean, KOAs are great, but we're not planning one here. What we want is the experience to be a very nice mountain modern experience where you're coming into good architecture with good barnwood and stone. And the idea is that the road will come in, and you will come, and you'll be able to see these cabinettes, but the road will come in through a very nice entrance, and we think that they'll add to once you include all the landscaping we've already started planting, which we did a lot last year, and all the planting that we're intending to do as part of the project, it will have a very nice entry, and you'll just see these small unit types. But the thing is we're going to have a large investment out here, and we're going to want to sell these for a lot of money. And so because of that, we're going to want to make sure we do not cheapen this approach. And so that's why we think we've struck the right balance. And we think that, the advantage is we think that it would be more impactful on the experience of drivers on SR32 if you had a large building there. And so our thought is that by having these lower buildings that we can tuck in and conceal with a lot of landscaping, it's a good way to still achieve a resort use without having a 3 or 4 story building. So that's the opportunity. And to the chair's point, I agree. I'm happy to continue the discussion with council. They've been great to work with. We're still, just so in full disclosure, we're still working with Planning Commission. We're still going to be pushing to be on Planning Commission agendas so we can advance a preliminary plan to bring back to this group. But if there's any kind of hesitancy on your part with this product type, we'd love to just provide any answers. And if this group says no, we would like to see, an attached hotel product. That's what we really thought about. I mean, we can evaluate that. but our preference would be to continue down this path, particularly where we're staying within the unit counts at least that were in that first approval from last year.
So let me go back to my concern. I think the product looks fine and it's good on the concept. My concern is the number of them and the ability to rent the number of them.
Yeah.
So that they don't end up, you're not pressured or thinking that you want to turn this into individual ownership or about long-term rentals. So that's more my concern is knowing that the market is there for that.
So I'm aware that there's another project, I won't raise it by specific name, where in essence, a project that maybe was first entitled as a 0.25 unit project is now being used for workforce housing and it wasn't intended to be so. We'd be happy to put provisions into a written binding development agreement that gets recorded against the property, confirming that this entire property can only be owned by one owner, which is the hotel owner.
You're talking about the fireside piece?
The fireside piece, sorry, so let me be more specific.
Yeah.
This fireside piece would be owned by one owner, could only be operated for nightly rental in accordance with the specifics that we would outline in the development agreement. And then, to your point about whether they would create an oversupply, I will tell you, if those 50 units are vacant, they're not going to do the second phase. And if they wanted to figure out some other kind of product type, they're like maybe an attached hotel, we would have to come back to this body and amend the approval. But we've discussed internally and with planning staff about providing assurances to this county that that's the way it would be operated, so it wouldn't turn into something unintended. And I've worked with Mr. Woodard before. He's very good, and we can work together on putting in clear language to that effect in the agreement.
Just the other point that I don't know that a quarter ERU would cover it. I don't know if it should go to a full half or a full unit. I would like the opportunity to kind of analyze that and make sure that our impacts, that we're not putting ourselves in a bad situation there.
If that's great. I mean, we have a few units to work with. I mean, we obviously want to be treated consistent with the code and consistent with other practice, but we also want to hear concerns or just inputs from the county. So we're happy to continue that discussion. One thing that would be helpful is unless this group sees a showstopper, could we continue to at least discuss? Obviously, that wouldn't bind this county or this council, but could we continue to advance our application with the planning commission while you're weighing these items? Because one thing that'd be harmful.
Able to do that, is that even possible?
The applicant's hoping to be on the June planning commission agenda. So my question is what do you want to see or need from John and I to be able to help you there?
I would like to, I think some of the things that John was bringing up to you when we walked out, just can we break it out? Can we break this one element out of the master plan, the overall site approval and all that? Can we do that from a legal standpoint without creating a problem for ourselves and within other developments in the county? That's the big concern I have on it. And then just the ERU number.
Okay. So if we can resolve that, how do we resolve that? Is it a memo to the council?
I would think so. I think that would be fine, or, yeah, I think that's probably the best thing, formal memo to it, and we can review that, and then potentially act on it before June.
We don't mind the ERU discussion being out there, because that in the end is just math. What we're wanting to do is be able to advance the discussion about how we're configuring these units while you're evaluating those factors. And so, if that's at all possible, that would be helpful to us, because we're now obviously, as we know, in the season where everybody thinks now we got to build now.
Scott and John and Doug, do you understand what it is that we're looking for?
I think so.
I think, yeah.
Would we would still collect the TRT even if they decided to make it work for housing, right? I mean,
No.
Well, if you put in there that it had to be,
It's
no
a
matter
hotel.
what, it was a hotel, so if they rented out.
If under the development agreement is mandated that there's transfer by the tax collected for that, we would collect transfer.
Even if it's workforce.
No matter what.
so I think that would need to be in there, obviously, just to protect us. At least then we still provide the tax. And then just on a quick note, when I think about these units, just as in the form of traffic, 10 trips equals 1 ERU. I can't see these having any less than 4. So it seems to me that they should be at least 0.4 ERUs, but have the opportunity to look into that more.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to analyze that as well.
I'll let you.
Wait, have you calculated how much increased development area you have with the 250 units as opposed to one building?
Let me ask Nate Reed to answer that, because I think it's a fair question. Nate's dealt with the development pads for more than a year, so Nate, you want to come talk about development area and how much area is being occupied by these? And I'll switch it to this.
Yeah, so Nate Reed, Reed and Associates, engineer from the project. Well,
There he is.
been here before. So currently the build out of the Fireside Resort would cover about 40 acres in size. We have strategically placed these so that they will be screened, they will be their own community. They have very limited access, 2 accesses into each location of them, so that we can control, international fire code, but also control access in and out. So, to consolidate all of those into one building, yes. Is that building considerably smaller? Yes. We are looking for views, we are looking for impact to the property, and we feel, since this is adjacent to SR 32, by having them low impact, that it is a good fit for the project. As well as a side note, when we were here in May of 2018, we did have this discussion then as well. The plan that was presented then did show the 250 vacation rentals in this location, and so we have just further defined that, and I believe that's what's brought us to that point. But yeah, that was on there, and Mr. Budge has passed that out to you, what we did show in May of 2018.
So the original design was to use 40 acres in the resort center.
Correct.
Now how much is being used?
It is, what was consumed in May of 2018 was about 25 acres.
Oh, so you increased it?
We have increased it.
Okay.
We've also centered all of our commercial and everything else inside of that area so that it can be within walking distance and everything of that community.
How are you phasing? You said you'd start with 50. If you get the 250 based on, as we resolve the ERU count, how would you phase those? Probably the first 50 maybe in that they're close to the resort and the
Yes.
shopping and whatnot you put in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the number 1 and number 2 is more the clubhouse and the features associated with the Fireside Resort. We'd probably go to number 4 that's on that map that's adjacent to it.
Well, there are 3 4s.
Oh, there is. The 4,
But I would assume
4 to
you're
the
the
closest,
east is 4.
4 to the east.
Yeah,
So,
I would assume you'd start there close to the lake and the
Correct.
amenities
correct.
and then work out from there.
I'm sure you looked at the logistics of this, but you plan on keeping it open year-round.
That is
What
correct.
about the snow removal? That's pretty dense.
It is, your plan on, the roadway system inside of there is obviously a private roadway built to county standards. So we do have areas for snow removal. We do realize our elevation and our location here, and so yeah, we have taken that into consideration.
Ice skating on the lake.
And potential ice skating.
All right, council, anything else on this item? You guys have anything else, John?
Jamie?
No, thank you. Just thanks for the attention, and we'll plan to just keep advancing the discussion, but with planning staff and the planning commission, but we look forward to getting input from this group, and then we'll bring the preliminary plan to you. Hopefully
I'm
soon.
sorry, I did not see the message until an hour later that you guys needed to move right on now.
Oh, so
I
thanks again.
apologize for that.
Oh, you're fine. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
All right, we'll move.